Hello everyone, I am Mia, born and raised in Virginia, a serene place where the streets are lined with towering trees and endless rows of homes. It was in this quiet town that I spent the majority of my childhood, surrounded by the warmth of my parents. My mother was a gentle and kind-hearted woman, always greeting me with a warm smile from the early hours of the morning as she prepared breakfast, and still wearing that same loving expression well into the evening as she worked in our small but cozy kitchen. My father, on the other hand, was a man of few words but an abundance of responsibility. He worked tirelessly to provide for our family, ensuring that we were always safe and cared for. Though our house was modest, it overflowed with love, laughter, and the simple joys of togetherness. Everything in my memory of those early years seemed perfect, or at least that was what I believed at the time. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you more fascinating true stories like this one. And trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this video, so stay tuned until the end, because this story is about to take an unbelievable turn. Then, when I was just 15 years old, my world was shattered. My mother, the heart of our home, passed away after a brief and unexpected illness. It all happened so quickly that I barely had time to comprehend what was going on. One moment she was there, her warm hands brushing against mine, her laughter filling the air. The next, she was gone. The emptiness that followed was unbearable. The pain of losing her was one thing, but watching my father sink into solitude and loneliness in a house that once echoed with laughter was another. We continued to live together, but something fundamental had changed. Our home, once filled with light and love, felt heavy with unspeakable grief. Every morning I went to school, and every evening I returned to a house that no longer felt like home. The same kitchen, the same simple meals. But without my mother's presence, it was as if we were just two distant souls coexisting in the same space. When I turned 18, my father remarried. The news came as a shock, even though I knew deep down that he deserved a second chance at happiness. His new wife, my stepmother, was a kind and gentle woman who carried herself with grace. With her came a son, Alex, a year younger than me. From the moment they entered our lives, it felt as though my world had been turned upside down once again. At first, having a stepbrother felt strange. I had spent so much time alone with just my father that adjusting to new family dynamics was difficult. Alex and I were both quiet, both unsure of how to interact. It wasn't that he did anything to make me uncomfortable. He was just as lost in the situation as I was. Every evening, the four of us would gather in the living room. My father and stepmother would chat about work and future plans, while Alex and I sat in silence, exchanging hesitant glances that carried more questions than answers. As time passed, the family meals became more familiar, more natural. Alex, though reserved, showed small gestures of kindness, offering to help me with the dishes or serving me food during dinner. These little moments, though seemingly insignificant, held a weight I couldn't ignore. At first, I told myself I was being overly sensitive, that the way Alex looked at me was just the way a younger brother admired his older sister. But deep down, I knew something was different. There was an undeniable tension between us, one that neither of us spoke about, but both felt growing stronger with each passing day. I hated the way my heart would race when he was near. I despised the way my mind would wander to thoughts I couldn't allow myself to entertain. But no matter how much I tried to suppress it, the truth was clear. I was starting to see Alex as more than just a stepbrother. One night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I heard soft footsteps outside my door. Alex had a habit of stopping by my room late at night for brief conversations before heading back to his own. It had become a small routine for us. But that night felt different. When he slipped into my room, he lingered longer than usual. His eyes held an intensity one wasn't used to. It was as if he wanted to say something, something important, but couldn't find the words. I swallowed hard, my heart hammering in my chest as the silence between us stretched on. Before I could fully process what I was doing, I nodded slightly, a silent invitation for him to stay a little longer. We sat there, in the dim glow of the moonlight filtering through my window. Two strangers who somehow felt inexplicably close. To be completely honest, I liked Alex more than I should have. He was handsome in a way that made it hard to ignore. The logical part of me screamed that it was wrong. We were living under the same roof, we were family in the eyes of the world. But logic didn't stop my heart from racing whenever he was near. And then one night, everything changed forever. Our parents had left for a 5-day trip, leaving Alex and me alone in the house. At first, we saw it as an opportunity to relax without any parental supervision. But as the days passed, the tension between us grew unbearable. One evening, we sat on the couch watching a movie. Some random romantic film neither of us truly cared about. I had prepared snacks, dried squid, fresh fruit, a few cans of soda. We laughed, enjoying the rare moment of ease. Then, out of nowhere, a scene unfolded on the screen. A passionate, intimate moment between the main characters. The room fell silent. The air became thick with unspoken words. I felt Alex's gaze on me, felt the warmth of it creeping over my skin. My fingers tightened around my soda can, trying to steady myself. And then suddenly he moved. Without warning, Alex pulled me into his arms. His movement was strong, decisive. His lips met mine in a desperate, urgent. The moment his lips met mine, it was as if the world around us dissolved. The kiss sent shockwaves through my entire body, electrifying my skin and shaking me to my core. It wasn't just a kiss. It was the release of months of buried tension, of unspoken words, of glances that lingered just a little too long. Every emotion we had worked so hard to suppress, every feeling we had silently refused to acknowledge, came crashing down on us like a tidal wave. Fierce, overwhelming, and impossible to escape. I remember the way my breath hitched, the way my heart pounded like a war drum inside my chest. There was a voice in my head screaming for me to stop, to pull away, to say something. Anything that would break the spell we had cast upon ourselves. I should have pushed him away. I should have demanded that we forget what just happened, that we pretend it never happened at all. But I didn't. Couldn't. Because in that instant, despite everything I knew to be right and logical, my body betrayed me. I melted into him. That night shifted the axis of my world. Nothing would ever be the same again. From that moment forward, the invisible wall we had once tried to maintain between us, the one built out of guilt, duty, and societal expectations, crumbled entirely. The boundaries we once honored disappeared, and in their place was a dangerous, fragile intimacy. We didn't talk about it. We didn't need to. Our silences were filled with knowing looks and quiet confessions, things we couldn't say aloud but felt with every glance, every accidental touch. And through it all, our parents remained completely unaware. To them, we were the picture of a blended family. Two young people adjusting to life under the same roof, sharing meals, exchanging pleasantries, coexisting peacefully. But behind closed doors, Alex and I were something else entirely. Something unspoken, something forbidden. We became experts at deception. Days turned into weeks. Weeks blurred into months. We learned how to wear masks, to keep our distance in public while navigating an invisible thread that pulled us together in private. We laughed when we were supposed to, played our parts at family dinners, shared inside jokes, and smiled for holiday photos. But when the lights dimmed and the world went quiet, our truths emerged in hushed whispers and lingering stares. We weren't siblings. Not in the way the world expected us to be. Not in the way we were supposed to be. We were living a lie. A beautiful, thrilling, agonizing lie. And as much as we tried to keep it hidden, as much as we clung to our secret, we both knew deep down. Secrets like ours never stay hidden forever. Eventually, as all forbidden things do, reality caught up with us. The illusion we had so delicately maintained began to unravel, not with a scandal or confrontation, but with the slow, inevitable passing of time. Alex left for college. Just like that, the bubble we had lived in burst. The space he once occupied in my life, in my heart, was suddenly empty, and with that space came silence, reflection, and the painful clarity of distance. Separated by cities, by responsibilities, by growing up, we were finally forced to confront the truth we had long avoided. Our relationship, as thrilling and intense as it had been, had no real place in the future. It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't right. And it couldn't survive the weight of the world beyond our little corner of secrecy. I tried to move on. Really, I did. I told myself that what happened between us was a mistake, a product of grief, loneliness, and emotional confusion. I poured myself into my career, seeking comfort in routine, in purpose, in the kind of structure that doesn't leave room for reckless memories. Eventually, I met someone. Good man. Steady. Dependable. He offered me everything I thought I needed: safety, partnership, stability. We fell in love the right way. We got married, built a home, raised a family, created the kind of life I had once dreamed of, the kind that looked perfect on the outside, one that even I began to believe was enough. But even now, all these years later, there are nights I lie awake, staring at the ceiling with my heart heavy and my thoughts drifting to a past I've never spoken aloud. The memories of Alex, they haven't vanished. They exist in quiet corners of my mind, lingering like the faint echo of a song that once meant everything. I look at my husband, a man who loves me without condition, who trusts me completely, and I feel a pang of guilt so sharp it nearly takes my breath away. He has given me so much, and yet there is a part of me he doesn't know. A truth I've kept buried deep beneath the layers of the life we've built together. Sometimes I wonder, should I tell him? Would speaking the truth, confessing the secrets of my past, destroy the foundation we've built? Would it unravel everything, every promise, every piece of the life we share? Or would keeping it hidden be the more merciful path, a quiet sacrifice made in the name of peace and protection? That's why I turn to you now, my audience. Because I don't know anymore. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? Would you unearth the past, knowing it could tear your present apart? Or would you leave it buried, hoping time will continue to keep it silent? Let me know in the comments below. Please, I need your advice. What should I do? Thank you for staying with us. If you find it interesting and useful, please subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss the next video. Thanks.